Yeah, I think I try not to think too much about it, but in the end, it's also like I think I want to take a bit of responsibility for, because I'm at the moment the only ambassador we have on this World Tour level as a rider, and it's really a small sport for the moment. I think it was bigger back in the day, but then it got a bit forgotten. So my hope is to bring it up a bit more in the medias and try to put light on it again, and eventually be on the races that Swedes are likely to watch in the summer. And I think it would mean something a lot to me if I were part of building this sport again, since I enjoy it quite a lot myself.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it has been bigger earlier in Sweden.
Yeah.
Why do you think it has become so much smaller today?
It's always hard to like find. I always think it's just a series of reasons or a trend or whatever. In Sweden, the thing closest to our hearts when it comes to like endurance sports is probably cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
And of course this will, it's similar to what cycling is in Belgium, for example, where it will always just keep on living because of the history. And I think cycling was bigger before, maybe, I don't know, maybe because people were happier to go out on a bike, or that we actually had riders on the biggest scene, and that was part of doing the biggest races, and we had some guys doing big results in big races. Now it's probably 40 years ago. Latest was Magnus Bäckstedt in Roubaix, of course. But it has only been like a few times now and again in the later years, and then I think it slipped out of the general media and the general attention, because now people don't even think you can be professional at all.
Yeah, but inside the team you have a lot of Scandinavians in the form of the Danish guys. Does that in any way help you that you can support yourself to these guys, the Danish guys?
Yeah, I think it's nice to have them around, because it's the closest to home I will get in the sport, and since Scandinavia will always feel more close to heart in a way, or we recognize each other and we have a similar culture and everything like that, and also the language is reasonable for me to learn compared to most other languages spoken except English. So it's something I'm trying to develop also, so I can feel more at home and part of some group that doesn't just speak English.
But there's also sort of a bit of a rivalry between Danish and Swedish people. Is there
normally
inside the team?
In cycling, I think we didn't. I think none of us looked at it as a rivalry really for some time, since we didn't really compete the last years.
Yeah.
But for sure, it would be nice to bring it back a bit.
You were the first Swedish male cyclist to win a world title in any category. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like a pioneer, like the Peterson brothers back in the 70s or Tommy Prim back in the 80s? And how much do you know about your country's own history? Does that play a part in your development career, the way you see cycling? Or is it just a long gone memory?
Yeah, I think for me, I wasn't like studying the history of cycling in Sweden like closely. I came from mountain bike and switched quite late when I was 20, and since then the knowledge of road is also a bit compromised. But no, it's like the big results or merits that some people have in Sweden from earlier days I've learned them now, most of them. But I'm really just trying to be my own in everything, and I'm not trying to look at it as anything bigger than it is. I'm trying to just do my thing really, because it's the only thing I really can affect. And if I'm happy to continue with cycling and think it's exciting, then it will probably exceed and even develop into something even bigger. And that's the best way I can contribute to creating a new wave for the sport, really.
Where is that path going to lead to? You're obviously an amazing time trialist. You do the pavé really well. You also are very competitive in 4 or 5 days stage races with a certain amount of difficulties. So where would you like to continue? Where's the next chapter?
I think I know a lot more about my profile after this season, and of course the time trial will always be there in my career, I think, as a specialty. But today it really sticks out because I think it was quite natural for me to develop this skill. Coming from mountain bike, it's a similar way of thinking about it. It's just a different bike, different challenges, but a similar way of developing the speed, the momentum, everything. So I found a really good level there, but something that I think takes a lot longer is to reach really the best classics rider I can be, because this takes a lot more experience, learning the peloton that you're riding with, learning riders, learning courses, learning conditions and the culture behind it, and also the are often quite long events, and which also brings an advantage with having done more miles before. And I think really this is the biggest project I will have in my career. I would guess at this point that to try and become the best rider I can be in the classics will probably finish last out of every project I could have in cycling, is my guess. And then with time trials could come good results in GCs, in stage races, as you said, like 1 week races even, and that depends a bit how my body develops and how allowing it is for me to maybe be a bit more slim than I am today, or like it's many factors, but only time can tell if it's really meant to be.
What's the schedule for next year? What are the races you're going to do?
I don't even have a really definite schedule myself. Of course, it's a lot of talks still, because it's so many factors taken into account. But we are looking a lot towards the classics and trying to get really the best preparation for it. Probably gonna do a couple of stage races before that, similar to this season really. I think it will be more or less a copy of the spring program, only we bring it up one step and we don't do the U23 races. We maybe even do the big ones. Yeah.
The way Matthias Vajek developed himself the last 2 years, is that something you're looking up to?
Of course, he's taken really big steps in performance and grown in capacity for every year, and really found a way of contributing a lot to the team, together with Mas in the Giro, for example. I wouldn't say like for me, I'm always trying to think out of my own and look at my own potential, my own ability to develop. So I wouldn't say that I look at riders like that in general. But of course, it's an example of someone that has a lot of ambition and always just keeps going and don't really doubt himself, which is really impressive when you have all the light on yourself.
Would the Grand Tour be on your program next year?
something that we have considered, but this is the thing that we are most unsure about in the moment. It has many factors and depends on condition when you come closer to it, or whatever fits the best with how the preparation should look, and what other riders are really fitting for the team going there, and so on. Like we have many riders on a good level at this point, and the long list for every Grand Tour is quite big. So if it's the right moment for me to do my Grand Tour depends on many other factors, of course, and it's something that we don't rush to take a decision about. But the chance is for sure not zero, and for sure not definite.
It seems like Jakob, you have quite a good relationship with Helmer Philipsen, because you're similar age sort of, and it seems like you do well in the races together. How is that relationship with him?
Yeah, I got to know him as soon as I joined the team, since he was supported already as a junior. He came to our training camps, and really he's been a massive talent since the start. And but for me it was just nice getting to know him, because still with almost every younger rider you encounter in this environment, you recognize yourself, and just from the personality itself and priorities or expectations or nerves or whatever, you really recognize yourself in many ways. And I've always thought it's nice to be around guys like these that are really excited about it also, to just keep that energy about it also, and maybe not the ones that more or less go to work in a stage race or whatever. You have every example in every team, I think, but for me the relationship developed over time and grew, it's probably still growing, and we are both really happy to see each other succeed.
You also had that 1-2 win in Propos under 23. Do you regret that you didn't get the win, or that he got it, or is it okay to finish second?
Yeah, no, for me it's the perfect scenario, really, because in the end of the day we really fight for big results. It's super important for the team, sponsors, relationship, budgets, future plan. It's always the goal to succeed and to win. But in the end, for me, I really try to think out of the team perspective, and we already did the perfect job when we came into the velodrome. So, and I was super proud of everything I contributed to the team. And if we sprinted again against each other and I managed to win the sprint, it wouldn't be any different than winning against him on training day, I wouldn't say. And then it's just what's left after this weekend. It's only a number, it's only a 1 or a 2 on a paper. And it's really the memory that you look back on and smile about, and I thought the memory was one of the nicest I have in cycling from this weekend, really. Just showing that we are one team, and this is something that I'm really proud of being part of.
You mentioned a bit ago that you transitioned from mountain biking just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
How did you manage this transition into a time trialist, in which the effort is completely constant? It's the opposite of mountain biking. How did you manage to do that transition so successfully?
I think for me, I was always obsessed with trying to become my best mountain biker and cross-country rider. It was only that it wasn't really what fitted me the best. It was when I jumped on a time trial bike and a road bike that I realized what I'm really built for. So I cannot tell you anything else than that it was always supernatural for me, the type of effort that a time trial is, because for me I always was good carrying momentum, and going through the start-finish straight on the cross-country course and just trying to find momentum and rhythm, because sharper turns and accelerations and steep climbs aren't really for my body type, let's say. And finding the momentum everywhere was always something I developed through young years, and that just it took a while before I got really I stumbled upon a time trial bike and competed at the national champs and realized that this is actually something that I'm probably quite good at, probably a lot better than mountain biking, even if I worked for developing in that sport for all the years before.
Your mountain biking experience can contribute greatly to your success in races like Roubaix or even with the Strade Bianche, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really confident in my bike handling and also just reaction, the vision, looking for like learning the peloton is a different thing. You have to relearn it or learn it from the beginning, but it's not so far from also finding the smoothest line in the forest. And I think really everything is about being efficient and saving energy, and it's just different obstacles on a mountain bike or in a road race. So I think it's a similar way of cognitive thinking about it, only that it's two different challenges or two different languages that you just have to learn a new one, in a way.
Two more questions, please.
Yeah.
By looking at your resume, your trajectory, and also, if you allow me, to your physique, one would say that Paris-Roubaix is, of the two coupled classics, the most suited to you.
Yeah.
But then we watch you on races with a certain amount of gain, like Comunidad Valenciana and some others, and you also perform really well in small, medium length mountains. Would Flanders be an objective towards the future? Where would you think you will feel better?
I think Roubaix would be more natural, but for sure almost all cobbled classics would be in the objective for the future. And if I have the role in the team to be the one that tries to win the race, then I'm super thankful, and I will try to do the best with that opportunity. And probably at that point I will also believe quite a lot in that I'm capable of doing it. But before this I just have to see. I'm pretty confident about Roubaix and that I eventually would try to get that title in the elites. But in Flanders, E3, the other big cover classics, Ghent, I'm trying to shape my rider to be more compatible with it. And I think I'm not too far away at the moment, but if it's ever comes as natural as Roubaix, I don't know.
How popular is Jenny Rissards compared to you in Sweden?
Still quite a bit more popular. Basically, if you won an Olympic gold medal, then you are an athlete for a lifetime. Yeah. And I can't really compare to that media attention. No, not. I'm not close at the moment. And also after the super season she had on the cross-country bike, winning I don't know how many World Cups and also the World Championships as for the first time for her in a long career. It's still quite a bit more light on her for sure.